Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the SupFM podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Trovese. To my left is going to be my boy, Chris Cheney.
What up?
And to my right is going to be Lawrence DeLoach.
Hey, buddies.
Oh, my God. I almost said Sup Podcast.
I know. I heard it.
We're SupFM, baby. It's brand new.
SupFM, baby.
First off, before we go into anything, we got a great interview today with Frank the Butcher. We had a lot of fun with him. If you're watching the video version, there's a reason why my mic is in the stand right now. Before we get into that, where can everybody find you guys?
Lawrence, you are at LZD325, if I'm correct?
That is correct, sir.
And you have a podcast called I Hate This Job?
That is correct. I hate this job. That's on all streaming platforms, so check it out.
Check out our boy here. I am at notthatcheney, CHENEY.com. You know, I got a website where I got some designs I've done for my personal shit. I got like a 3 hat. I think you can see in the back right there. So like the headshot. I got some t-shirts I've done. And Buy A Life New York.
Yes, exactly. And I am at Trovese on Instagram and Twitter. And I don't have anything else going on in my life.
You have a Supreme microphone, sir. That is a lot.
I have a Supreme microphone. That's taken up most of my time, honestly. Oh, we have a lot. We had a great interview with Frank, but we still have a couple things that we wanted to talk about today, right, guys? We got Supreme Dunks, of course. We've got the Nike scandal.
Yep.
Right. Anything else? Khaki Travis Scott's, maybe.
Yeah, some new Cactus Jack 6s, maybe. I don't know. Lawrence was out last week, bro. What's good with you? How are you?
Yeah, how are you, Lawrence?
I'm living, guys. I'm happy to be back. I'm so mad I missed the interview with Farrell. She's amazing. And, you know, once again, I was kicking myself for missing because I had a lot of fucking questions I wanted to ask her that I didn't get to ask her. But you know what? I'm here for the Frank interview, and that matters. So, right. I'm good. You know, happy to be with you guys.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Let's just dive in right into this Nike thing, because I think that's kind of on the forefront of everyone's mind. You know, we've already had things like the trophy room shit go down. This whole sneaker business becomes a dumpster fire of not letting people who want sneakers get them. I mean, how do we really feel? Are we surprised, or like, what's the initial thoughts?
Man, I'm not surprised. I'm really not. What about you guys?
I want you guys to get out all your thoughts, because I'm going to go on one of these like Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp rants in a second about classism, racism that's involved in this whole story. Okay, so if you want to talk about it first, fine, but I'm going to say my shit. So go ahead.
So I'm going to add a little bit more to that. Yeah, I'm not surprised by it. And also, you could see the thoughts of our listeners on the Discord, which there's going to be a link in the bio. Now,
that's
Chris,
right.
What do you think about it?
I mean, so now I don't have all the facts, and when I speak on things, I generally don't. So I might be wrong in a couple of things, but it seems like that Nike knew that this lady's son was doing this, and their excuse to why it was allowed is that she was so far away from actually being able to help him. Like, she was such a high executive, I guess, or some bullshit. It just screams bullshit all the way around. Like, how can you be a vice president of an entire continent's business for a company, and then you let your son have your entire stock in your garage? Like, we got kids out here that are fucking fighting for sneakers, and then you're letting your son use your credit card to buy entire stocks, taking away from the sneakers shit, I guess. Like, they were taking away sneaker stock for this kid. But I don't know how much of this shit is true, you know, and I don't know how much of these screenshots I've seen of wild shit being doctored or just like misrepresented from another thing. But I mean, Lawrence, take it away, bro. Like, just go for it. This whole thing is just fucking absurd, if you ask me.
Yeah, it shows that this era of this whole quote unquote sneaker, you know, consumerism is driven by A, clout, but B, the fact that if this is, you know, a lot of this is true, which it seems like it is, the fact that the mother had such a high position within Nike, and the way that this kid was able to fund he had so much insider trading. Yeah. He had so much insider information. He had, to the point where he created a cook group. You know, he had a cook group where he's charging people money for, you know, to cook, for information. The fact that the mother can give this kid the information of what's at these, you know, these factory stores, you know, the fact that we look at the way Black kids and minorities and Spanish kids, and they line up in the hood and they're fucking killing each other for $100 profit. And this white kid is able to, in fact, have a company bankrolled under his vice president mother, who's moving up every 18 months within this company. But we get looked at and labeled as thugs and fucking, get a job, you fucking loser, and all this shit. And it goes to show you that the fact that we are, and it's not just, blacks, and it's a lot of people. We're fighting for scraps in this shit.
Yeah.
And this kid comes up on 6 Air Max. He fucking, the audacity, like, you're getting so much love and you're making so much money from based off your mother's tit, and you still have to figure out a way to clout chase. Like, he is out here, had the cell phone with in the mother's name, using the mother's credit card. It is fucking bullshit. And the mother knew what she was doing. Nike was complicit in this. They knew. They just didn't say anything until that article exposed this kid for what he was, a fucking clout chasing loser.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know how things like, the BLM, even the first time around, second time around, you always learn like these little things. Why is it that white people always like leave on their own accord? They always resign. They never get fired. There's never any shame in it. You know what I mean? She was able to just go, sorry guys, I'm going to leave now. And it like wasn't a big deal at first.
I'm going to say this, and that definitely is so true, Chris, because at the end of the day, and I totally agree with this. I mean, granted, now the kid, I think no one's going to fuck with him in terms of giving him a plug because,
right.
He's so hot right now. But now the mother, if you don't think that she's going to get a job at some company, Adidas, Reebok,
Converse, it's probably going to be in the same family.
Yeah. She's gonna fucking get another job at within a company making good money because she's quote unquote valuable. So, but what I'm saying to you is, you go into so many of these inner cities and you look at these kids who are, like I said, I watch these kids line up and fucking, we've seen the videos, we've put the videos on our social media where they are fucking fighting. And I say they're fighting for their lives because this is the only way that they feel that they can make money, but they don't have the connections that this kid had.
No.
So you look at it and you're like, fuck, man, it just goes to show you how life is. If we're fighting, or these kids are, like I said, you see them online for dunks, and we've seen the video, kids if I don't get in, no one's getting in. Meanwhile, this kid's got his mom, who's making 6 figures, giving him a credit card and hooking him up with, she was influential. She handled sneakers. She was working.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he was literally buying sneaker stock.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Now, all this is sort of, these accusations, the ones I just made, I don't know if it's true or not. I've read different things, different places. I mean, I'm not as well informed as this kid was with like his mother told him, but I mean, they're doing it right in front of our face, dude. Like, you can't have something so egregious like what Michael Jordan's son did to us and then have this immediately follow and not like, and no one's really checking it. This is sort of like the Epstein thing where like, they're like, he killed himself. It's like, no, clearly something is up. And you guys are just laughing at us in front of our faces. Because how many other kids do you think are like this kid that have all this access and are buying all the stock, and we're over here just getting the your entry wasn't selected screen?
Chris, you can't compare. Don't compare Epstein to this.
Well, no, just
you're about to be a seltzer sponsor. You got to learn how to talk like one. Jesus Christ, dude.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. Absolutely. Yes.
Listen, I am upset, and when I say upset, I'm not upset to the point where I'm like, man, fuck Nike, never doing it again. But I'm like, this is the culture that has been fostered, and it's been celebrated. Where you go on Instagram, and if he kept his mouth shut and he would have continued to be in this situation. And who knows how the magnifying glass was on Marcus Jordan. It was on Jordan for what he was doing with the trophy rooms. But now we're at a point where this has been exposed within Nike. It's been exposed. We see, but once again, because the product is moving, and I feel like Nike's always just like, man, this is good publicity, man. Who gives a fuck, man? People still because Nike themselves are fucking resellers. They you know what I mean? So why do they care? So basically it's like you get a scrap here and there, and then the people within Nike are fucking eating.
You know what's crazy is like, this is a great example of how trickle down economics doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
going to the point of like, so you buy a sneaker now and you resell it. At the end of the day, you only get $20 because it's only one sneaker, one sale, one shoe, and it's the only one you have. You can't help raise the price of how it goes because you hold a lot of stock. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucked up where this kid, he's on the upper echelon of this shit. He's up there making racks, bro. But then, like Lawrence, like you're saying, it's like this trickle down shit doesn't work. Like, because once it gets down to us, it's no longer even a thing, and the people that even want it can't even get it.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's like sometimes, Al, you and I are gonna sound like such old men on this episode. It's like it's not how it used to be.
Yeah,
it isn't how it used to be. But we'll say this every episode. I mean, I can say this shit every episode, and it's just that there's a era that we grew up in and I came up in where it was never like this, man. It was never this bad. And I once again, I wasn't part of the era where kids were getting killed for starter jackets and you got shot for Jordans. By the time I was like able to purchase my own Jordan, I don't remember too many kids getting robbed, for Jordans or killed. But maybe because I grew up in New York and I didn't grow up in bumfuck Michigan or some other shit. No disrespect to our Michigan listeners or some shit.
Shout out to Michigan.
Yeah, but I like you said, Chris. I can tell you, before 2015, I think I have a story for every sneaker that I purchased, and it was, man, I waited on this line, or oh man, I remember doing this, and then after that, it became. Well, man, I got really lucky on this raffle, or man, I don't even know how the fuck, you know what I mean? It's like there's no more stories behind this thing that people love. It's oh man, I hit on sneakers. Oh man, I went 0 for 77 and finally a motherfucker hit something. But the reason why is because of this whole culture, because everyone assigns a dollar sign, a value to it, something. I don't know. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We should probably move on to topic because we're just gonna go down this rabbit hole.
Let's talk about another thing that we didn't get this week. Let's talk about Supreme.
Yeah, and it's still to this example. I don't know a single person that hit on Supreme.
Yeah, I don't know anybody. Nobody in our Discord really hit. I think ACR had a pair. I don't know how he did it, but he has a pair, I think.
How did you guys try for all four? Like, what was the story here?
I went on desktop 11 o'clock in the morning. I was LAN plugged in. I was trying to keep
office ping,
not office ping, home ping. But I get in there. I get to the sneaker page. All that's left are 10.5s. I go in there and I just try to grab up any 10.5s. Nothing. Just kept booting me out. And at some point, I just started laughing because it felt like they were just fucking with me at some point. Where it was just like, it's back in stock. Now it's sold out. It's back in stock. Sold out.
In all seriousness, I was going to be like, maybe it is the office. Maybe now that I'm here, I'll get something. Because you guys know I'm not like a, run to Supreme side at 11. I'm not even like a wake up at 10. You know what I mean? Like I can't even do none of this shit. I'm not like, it's not me. But I tried, and at 11 I hit refresh, and then like the site like crashed. Then it's still 10. It refreshed and it sold out. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And then I'm like, I'm looking at Trey. I'm like, I get bots now. Like I all I did was click refresh twice, and the shit was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawrence, did you grab anything from the drop at all, or?
No, I didn't grab anything. I was able to cart. I had it in a cart, filled in all my information, hit process payment, and I was waiting for it to say, your order's been submitted. And then soon, like I said, I had the brown in my cart, had a size 12, and then when I hit process payment, it lagged a little bit, and then it said sold out. So sold out in the cart. I was a little disappointed, but I just kind of. I saw it today. Actually, I was in Williamsburg and I saw a young Asian lady wearing the brown pair. And you know what? It didn't sting that bad. It did make me a little upset, but it didn't sting. Like, it wasn't like, oh man, and I'm kind of mad at myself because the whole time I had a game plan of the green. And then I saw on the Supreme community, they were doing the sellout times in Europe. And the green size 12 sold out. Like, it was like the fourth fastest thing to go. So it kind of scared me off. But in actuality, I think the blue and the black were probably the most abundant pairs.
Ooh.
I mean, like I said, man, it's not even that serious, man. I'm thinking about selling a majority of my shit, but I could have used the extra $600 to be happy. And I think from what I'm hearing, there's no Nike drop, and this was it.
Mm-hmm.
So if this was it, as the stock boys say, to the moon.
Ooh. It's got the L endorsement. He likes the shoe.
No. I said if there's no Nike drop,
to the moon, bro.
Then the prices are going to the moon.
Right.
It's not. Listen, I'm not. At the end of the day, I can move on. But yeah, it's something about like I said, I don't know, man. Supreme knows what they're doing. You know, I saw I heard in the Brooklyn store there was only like 100 pairs or some shit. Like Supreme knows what the fuck they're doing with this drop, man.
Yeah.
They fucking backdoored friends and family, and then a couple people get a couple pairs of sneakers
somehow.
We got news of a before we get into this. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm dying over here. Before we get into this interview, we also got a little news from the Travis Scott camp. Of course, me being the Travis Scott guy, I have to bring it up. There's like 6s. They look like khaki. Do we care? What do we think?
Well, I think we've sort of talked about Travis Scott as a stock before, and his value, I think, is starting to decline. The hype around him has lowered. I mean, this was a revered. Don't do that, L.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Now, go ahead, Chris.
The hype isn't as much as it used to be there.
Okay.
I mean, Al, I don't know if
So you think this is going to be easier to cop than?
No, not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's not making the noise because basically the first time around we saw that photo and everyone was like, oh shit. This time around, I know it's a re-release and I know he's got a couple other projects in between, but it's like everyone's going like, oh, cool. It's not like that oh shit that we initially had when we saw the olive one, you know?
Yeah, it does feel like you guys know the drill. We're gonna try for all of them, and then we're gonna get resale is gonna be like 600 right off the bat, you know?
I disagree. I don't think you, Chris, you just said like the hype isn't around. And I don't know if you're talking about just this particular color and model, but we saw Trav with a fragment Trav lows and people are still going. I mean, it's still Travis Scott. I mean, he still is able to sell and move shit. And like you said, a 6 is the hype around a 6. It will never be as great as a Jordan 1 or 4.
Facts.
So once again, I think people. And then another thing I will also say is the first model of a collaboration always usually tends to be the best color or the one that, you know, is like, oh man. So people will enjoy these. Will they enjoy them as much as the first 6s? It's just like the Don C2s. People fucking were going crazy for the blues. The tans came out. You know, the Chicago off-whites. People went crazy for those. The UNC ones people enjoy, but you know, so what I'm saying is, yeah, the second drop is usually doesn't have as much hype, but I still will say that when these drop, people are gonna these are gonna fly, obviously, and people are gonna, you know, fight to the death for Travis Scott.
I definitely was not trying to say that. What I was trying to say, and this is a rerun shoe, so it's not like, you know, like you said, like the first silhouette's always going to be the one. But it's hard for me to let you slide on saying that like the hype around Travis, although it's still very high, it's declining now. He's not like before when something happened because there wasn't as much of an abundance as Travis Scott product out. It meant more.
You think more product, he's more accessible now.
But the more product he comes out with, the more there's also no gap. That's the other thing. So like with Virgil, the 20, all these rumors like that the gap between the 10 releasing and these other 10 is great enough where people are going like, oh shit, because he's also still making noise in other places. Travis has not had a really stop. There's never been a break. And it's always been sort of constant, which is also good as far as like, you know, just staying relevant and having a presence. But also now it's like, how long are we going to go like, oh shit, another Travis Scott? Like it's not going to be there for much longer.
I disagree. I think as long as Trav stays relevant, you know, and a certain and musically or entertainment wise, Travis Scott shoe's still gonna have some type of value. People are still gonna go crazy for it, and I kind of disagree. Like I don't think that's gonna stop with him.
It's not gonna stop. What I'm saying is I'm starting to see like the.
So when Trav said if they say, hey, we're gonna release these fragment 1 Travis Scott collab, you think, oh, people are gonna be like, the hype is not gonna be there. The hype will be at all-time high.
No, but that's also Fragment. That's also a whole nother element to it.
But it's still Travis Scott. It's still Travis Scott attached to it.
I'm saying it's still Fragment attached to it.
Okay, if Trav released another Jordan 1, if he released a Chicago Jordan 1, you don't think the fucking hype would be through the roof? Like,
that's Chicago.
It's a Chicago.
That's Chicago.
Okay. So if Travis Scott released the orange Jordan 1 with the fucking
sign me the fuck up. I'm in.
That's what I'm saying.
But they also got orange dunks though, so it's like if someone misses, it's like I can get the orange dunk.
But that's not gonna happen because people are still gonna say, "Oh, it's fucking Travis Scott. I still need a pair." He has this. He has the fucking. They gave him the baton and he's running with it. Like, who else is out there? Drake is not. People not going crazy for no Drake sneakers. You know what I'm saying? People like fuck with Virgil, but Trav is still the guy that when they want to push something or they want to put a new model on or they want to fucking generate, he's still going to do it, whether it was 2019, 2020, or 2021. That's just who it is, where it's at right now with Travis Scott.
I think a good middle ground to sort of agree upon is like, you know, when you were throwing out those examples, like you had to add something to it. And I'm not saying that like, because he's always going to fly and like no one can disagree with that shit. If it's Travis Scott's going to go. But in order to bring it back to the high hype level, you got to do it with a Chicago color. You got to do it with a Fragment. You got to do it with PlayStation. You got to do it with it has to be a third party now to keep the hype as high as it is.
Okay, but like I said, if there's another Jordan 1 that Trav does that doesn't even have the collab effort behind it or even the Chicago colorway, people are still going to fucking value it.
For sure. Mm-hmm. I can agree with that.
He has the ability to sell shit without putting Hiroshi beside him or Virgil beside him. He still has that juice right now. So
yeah, he does. One other thing before we just throw it to the Frank interview, you know, now that we're in March is a pivotal moment, at least in streetwear holidays with Air Max Day. I haven't really seen much other than the Bacon photos coming back up. I feel like they're usually in full advertisement by now.
There's a Lakers colored Air Max 95 that's supposed to release.
Yeah, I did see that. That looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I think there's also those Air Max 2090s. I think I saw a couple colorways in, but I haven't seen like a major poster, photo, marketing campaign around it. I don't know, like
maybe it's because Air Max Day just isn't worth it for them anymore.
I mean, also last year there was like that timing because COVID fucked a bunch of shit up, and I only bring this up just because, you know, I saw some more Bacon photos, but I feel like we were talking about the Bacon 2 years ago.
It was like February last year. We were talking.
Well, I know we talked about it last year because we all thought it was going to drop then, or at least we were, you know, assuming. Mm-hmm. But I feel like 2 years ago, I swear to God, I saw a Bacon photo.
I think with COVID last year, and like Luke was saying, COVID last year, the year before, if I'm correct, it was like that shitty city pack, like Tokyo's and Seoul's.
And the Shanghais.
And the Shanghais. And I think that flopped a little bit. And then this year, I don't know how big of a role COVID's going to play with, you know, because every Air Max Day, you know, there's usually the festivities. There's the events. You know, I can remember going to an event. I'm not sure where it was at. It might have been Jacob Jav. Might have been somewhere. It was a few years ago. And it was fucking beautiful. I mean, granted, you know, but at the same time, I think the Bacons, and I think the fact that so many people are used to just not getting anything from Air Max Day, that it kind of just doesn't, people aren't going crazy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'll go crazy for the Bacons, but that's going to be about it.
I don't know. Well, you know, we'll be tuning into that, trying to make sure if there's anything that does come up. I just really feel like they usually announce more shit by now, but let's just you know, stay tuned, try to pay attention. You know, before we throw it to Frank, please follow us at SupPodcast NYC, at LZD325, at Trovese's, at 3 Meany, at Not That Cheney. You know, we got a Discord, we got phone number that you can call and leave a voicemail. We haven't got one of those in a while, so if you want to hit us up, I think I kind of scared you guys by saying that we're not going to listen to the dumb ones, but please just call in, leave us a note, and like, you know, whatever it is, like we'll just play. I'll hit play now. I don't care, whatever. And if there's anything else, you know, let's just throw it to Frank.
Yeah, videos on YouTube. Anything else?
Nah, just keep listening. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. Give us a great rating or a nice review. Tell us you love us. Join the Discord. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. Can't stop, won't stop.
This is, I guess. All right, so here we go. SupFM interviews Frank the Butcher. SupFM, here we are with special guest, friend of the show. You know him from Concepts. You know him from his work independently on his brand of Business as Usual. You might know him from his music. You definitely know him as a streetwear legend, OG at this point. My big bro, Frank the Butcher. Hey, what's going on, Frank? How are you, buddy?
Peace, peace. How's everybody? Yo,
Good, man.
congratulations on your new branding too, on the
Oh,
rebrand and all that.
thank you, man. Thank you. I know I had a couple manic episodes where I was texting you and showing you shit where I was like, is this good? I don't know if this is good. Like, what's happening?
Where you landed is great. I'm always a fan of your work. You already know.
Oh, thank you, Frank. I appreciate that, man. So let's just get a quick update from you. I know it's been a while since we last spoke to you on mic. You know, you're at Reebok right now. I believe your title is head of storytelling.
Yeah, head of storytelling for product and for brand. Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to go into it too much just to get this elephant out of the way. We know Reebok's sort of in a weird place where it's sort of like floating as far as a brand where it's going. If you just have any thoughts on that before we continue.
Yeah, I think number one is not a negative. You know what I mean? I think that what's happening it's happened to a lot of brands before they've seen their full potential, you know. You look at the brands that VF owns and other brands, Timberland, you know, when Timberland was independent, you know, and then they were sold. This, you know, we don't know what the future lies, but we do know that we're still moving forward, you know. So nobody sees it as a real negative, you know. We've been here before.
Yeah.
You know, especially Reebok. There's people still in the building that were there when Adidas acquired Reebok. So, you know, while outward facing, it seems kind of crazy, and yeah, it's a little bit, you know, but at the same time, you know, there's so much potential. Reebok has such a fan base. You know what I mean? People really have a connection to the brand. You included, you know, and myself included. You know, I don't just work there. You know, if you know about what I've done in the past, I've worked with Reebok numerous times, you know, personal collaborations, you know. So there's a relationship there, there's a meaningful connection there, and you know, me and my crew just want to see the brand get over the hump and keep pushing forward, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Now, Frank, let me ask you a question. When you say like storytelling, what if you can like elaborate a little bit about the storytelling aspect of what you're doing?
Sure. Every brand has a continuity in their storytelling, right? It's like, even it doesn't matter where the story is being told. It could be in athletics, it could be in lifestyle, it can be in just, you know, editorial style. There's a tone, and there's a connectivity, a continuity. There's a DNA of who we are in our storytelling, and that's what I'm here to manage. I'm here to, you know, oversee stories and help shape stories in a way that really reflect who Reebok wants to be. And, you know, making sure that that personality, that tone, that intent is present across all our storytelling channels, whether that's social, product, lifestyle, PR, everywhere where there's a place to, you know, to speak from the brand's perspective. I'm there to make sure that we're on tone.
I was gonna say a lot because a lot of the times, like, you know, and I know when especially like when you work at somewhere like Reebok or Adidas or whatever, a lot of the times you try to sometimes go to the nostalgic piece of, you know, the brand, because, you know, Reebok has a great history with guys like Shaq and you know, D Brown and Sean Kemp. Are you into trying to create new stories, or do you like try to mix in the old stories with new stuff? Or
It's a combination. It's a combination. Obviously, our heritage stories and our, you know, our archive stories are exciting parts of our history, and, you know, we draw from them, you know, inspired by them, and there's a lot of celebrating of that. But we all know here, I know that this podcast, you know, you guys are knowledgeable and understand that we need to also blaze forward with new things, new and exciting things, right? Innovative things, whether it's innovating on a story, innovating on a product. We need to continue to grow, pushing forward, but at the same time, make sure that we water those plants, right? We tend to our garden, right? The things that people love, the things that people know us for. It's just finding the right balance between our heritage and the future. That's always the job to do.
Like the D Browns you guys just did, the Pump Omni 2s.
You know,
and even you can go back to the Margiela shit where you guys gave him that Asian cut on the toe. That's like telling a new story there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, when I say storytelling, it's not just literal copy or, you know, content. It's that too. You know, taking our classic footwear, taking our iconic footwear, our part of our icon family, like the classic leather and the club C, and telling that kind of story, right? Like partnering with a brand with such heritage and such a DNA, and finding that way to infuse our DNAs, where you can see both of our personalities there. You can see what we did and how it's special, but it still celebrates who we are and celebrates who they are in an authentic way. And that's why that project in particular did so well.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're coming on a year of Corona, and you and I have been talking off mic,
Yeah.
just checking in, talking about like how
Yeah, of
things have
course.
changed, just from a big corporate entity. Because like me working with the A-Life guys, it's there's only 5 of us, but we still have our issues. I mean, what kind of adjustments have you had to make with such a huge corporation with like so many people involved?
I think like most companies, we got to be mindful on how we spend, right?
Yeah.
Our consumer has changed. That's something else that we're really keeping a critical eye on, right? Like, if my job is storytelling, if my job is trying to find a narrative that will be attractive and exciting and meaningful to our consumer, right? And pull them in. I got to know who the consumer is. And we've all changed in the past year. You know what I mean? Luke is not the same. Luke don't even look the same. Look, his mic is all different. Not like Luke just went through some.
You got
But
the
you know
hype
what I
mic.
mean? Where you got the hype mic now. But you know what I mean? We're not. None of us are the same. None of us buy things the same. None of us have the same taste. We've evolved. At gunpoint. You know what I mean? We've evolved. Things have made us really take a look at ourselves, and consumer habits and spending habits have changed. Now we got to figure out the next way to do business in this evolving world. So we're forever going to be altered. Everyone's going to be forever altered, but that's the way life is. But it forces us to find new and innovative ways to be successful.
Frank, I'm one of those guys that I'm in my mid 30s, and I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, shit, the game, the sneaker culture, everything's evolving, man. But sometimes I get frustrated because I'm like, it evolves negatively sometimes, because I feel like, back in the days, it was kind of like people were helping each other out, and now it's just like no one cares. Everyone's trying to get to that dollar profit. And I get a little frustrated. I know you as a creator, and you've been in the game for years. How much has the game changed for you?
It's a whole different game. It's a
Mm-hmm.
total change. You know what I mean? It's an ultimate. I mean, this is like a living, breathing organism. You know what I mean? And it's going to reflect what we feed it. And this is what we've been feeding it. We've been positioning brands and trends in a way that you know make people feel like that's all it is. That's all there was. And that's not what it was when I came into this. I'm older than y'all, but I know you guys. Mid 30s. You know what it is. There was a different thing going on. There was a passion for product. There was a passion for having things that others haven't didn't have, right? And not in a way of buying the most luxurious, high end, most expensive, but it was just about you know finding those things that connected with you. When I grew up, there were guys that were into certain shoes, and there were other guys that were into certain shoes. Like, we didn't have to have everything, right? It was more like what connected with your personality. You know what I mean? Like, yo, my man is the Bo Jackson King. My man Jack, he's a real person that I grew up with. Jack was the Air Max 95 King. Like, it was a more purposeful, intent. He was a fan of a shoe, and he went out of his way to find that product. But today it's more about commerce, and I understand that. I totally understand that. I understand that there is an opportunity to be had. There is a supply and demand component to be had. And this is what it is. This is what free market is. But at the same time, a little bit of the romance is gone. It's a little more cutthroat. And
Yeah.
I don't see the fun in that. I don't, and I'm not saying I even understand the frequency of fun that some people are having. I'm in a different place in my life, but it doesn't seem really that much fun. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
I
It's,
haven't had
it's
fun with sneakers in like 5 years.
it seems like there's a lot of anxiety attached to purchasing footwear. I mean, how many people are upset about not getting a certain shoe, or, you know, 1101, everything is sold out. It's like there's such an anxiety attached to it, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, all you do is end up with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the goal, if the goal is to accumulate as much stuff as possible, then you off to the races, I guess. But eventually you figure out that that's not the thing that makes you happy, and then you have to figure out the next step. So it's a lot going out there. Kids are getting hurt. There's people doing all types of schemes and drastic things to get shoes, and It just doesn't seem like that much fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of schemes and stuff like that, and you kind of mentioned how just this game is like so whack. And, we had two situations, or I would call them, this week. And Frank, you can, talk about as much as you like, or, as little as you like. But we had the whole Nike executive scandal that happened with Ann Herbert of Nike and her son. She funded his son's business, and he made it seem like he was getting it from the mud. And it just goes to show you that, like, it's on a deeper level to me when it comes to inner city, and how inner city kids are treated in terms of reselling, and how, a kid from, the burbs, his mom funds his organization. Frank, what do you see, or how do you feel when you see some shit like that?
I mean, it's like we said, that's the result. That's the result of being driven by, an obsession, right? And defining your worth by product, defining your worth by exclusivity, defining your worth by, owning these things, and it drives people to do things. It drives people to go really far. Obviously, I only know what you guys know via the news. I don't know these people, and I don't want to, speculate at all. But me working inside of a footwear company, we understand that there's levels of accountability. There's certain things we can and cannot do, and I couldn't imagine that scenario, if presented in the way that it's presented, the way that we're seeing it, just looking at it, as an outsider, I couldn't imagine that scenario not being flagged for conflict of interest. I work at a footwear company. My daughter's 24 years old, so if she wanted to, start doing some things, start moving some shoes, and I would steer clear. That's it's just, to me, it's common sense. But like you said, Lawrence, right? Like there's a privilege component. You know what I'm saying? There's a privilege component, that obviously other people don't have, and it this, again, no judgment, but this reeks of that privilege,
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank, I want to go into something real quick. You recently, speaking on things that people have that others don't, you just got a key to the city. Can you talk to me about that? What was that like?
I appreciate you bringing that up. That meant a lot. That means a lot. I've been blessed to be able to, do some things, and have some fun and gain some experiences, and a lot of that has been tied to the way we communicate, right? Like internet, and and started with blogs, and so on and so forth. That's really been the place that I've found success in that world of connectivity, like all of us here. So getting the key to the city is a little different. You know what I mean? Like it's more tangible. I can show my parents, and there's a different level of understanding. You know what I mean? There's a deeper connection, and this is a city that it wasn't all fun growing up. You know what I mean? It wasn't all fun. It wasn't all there's a lot of, it's a lot of holy burial grounds in my city where I've lost people, including my little brother at 21. So, receiving this key to the city, the way I thought of it was that it was kind of full circle, and where my family is now in the city's log permanently for something positive. You know what I mean? So, all that ancestry and all that shit, all that, you know what I mean? Like, 100 years ago, to look back and not only see my criminal record or my brother's death, or whatever things that just kind of hang out when as little particles of who you used to be. We're in the books, baby. You know what I mean? So that's something positive, and having my kids to see it, and being able to call my parents and letting them know that the city that I was, born and raised in, recognize my efforts. I mean, that's cool shit. It means a lot. And that's what I'm talking about, man. It's like, I've had basements, basement full of shoes, man. And I'm telling you that this key to the city, it fills me. You know what I mean? It really fills the spirit more than what a shoe can do. I'm just gonna let you know that there are things out there that that mean much more than that. And this was one of them.
So these things do exist, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Just checking.
Wait, no, Frank. How big is the key?
That's a good question.
It's like it's probably like 6 inches long. And what's cool too, I went to a trade school growing up. It's no longer there, but it was Worcester Vocational High School. It was in the middle of downtown Worcester. It looked like a bunch of factory buildings, auto, trade and paint and all that. And I was in graphic design. It used to call it graphic communication. Then I got in some trouble when I left the school. And then in recent years, they moved the whole school, built a whole brand new facility. And that school, the new Worcester Voc, it's called Worcester Tech now, made the key. So it's cool, man. It's like even the school I went to, has a connection to the key to the city. So really good, really cool.
Now, Frank, you said something. You were like, "Yo, I could have a basement full of shoes, and the key is more important." And I respect that. But you've collaborated and done some wonderful sneakers, Frank. So let's start saying which collab was your favorite, man.
Oh, which collab was my favorite? I really
anytime Frank works with me, Frank, I got this one for you. Anytime Frank works with me, it's sort of like, I think that's when he gets the touch of the youth, and he sort of like his eyes open up a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm fucking around, Frank.
Chris is my conduit into youth. You know what I'm saying?
We need a new conduit, bro.
yeah, conduit. I really like my the Forum Hustlers Crest project. That's one of my favorites. That shoe means a lot growing up. Seeing it, it was just a wild shoe. It was like of legend. The Hustlers, and it was over $100 in the late '80s, early '90s. It was really something different and special when I got the opportunity to bring that back with that crest that was out of It wasn't even, they didn't even have it on record. They didn't even know what I was pitching. And they just relaunched the Forum just recently, so that's top of mind. That's one of my favorites right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Frank, they just came back out with it, so this is around the time maybe where you can be like, hey guys, you remember me?
Oh man, yeah, nah, that's over, bro. To be honest, I don't see myself doing any more collaborations. You know what I mean? I'm not saying
go ahead.
No, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but that's not something that I'm pursuing and like that. I think there's a whole generation of people killing it right now. You know what I mean? Like, handle that. I'm right here.
Plus, you're more on the inside now. You became sort of like, you evolved like out of it, but more into it. You had a weird journey where like usually people on the inside try to get out. You were on the outside and sort of got in and like settled. Not settled like with whatever, but you were like.
I had to find some stability. It was really what was happening. You got to think like you're talking to me now, and the things that people do now seem very normal, seem very accepted. When I started in 2005, 2006, my career wasn't a position for me. It wasn't. You know what I mean? We as in my contemporaries around that time, we were all shaping our jobs. We didn't know what we were doing. Some people did, some people didn't, and the varying scale in between, right? Like trying to figure things out. So this is where I landed. And when I realized that, when I realized that there was more to get and there was more stability to have, I was a teen parent, so my kids were young. I've been married for a long time, so I had to make sure that I wasn't just distracted by all the shiny, all the excitement, especially in the era when I was doing it, right? All the hype releases and all the fun and all that, and really understand that, there's a career to be had, and I have to keep going in order to push my family forward and get these kids through college and all that. So it was my choice to try to find more stability. And at the same time, we're on the ground, you guys included. We're on the ground. We see things, we hear things, we have experiences, we have perspective that when sharpened, right, and when dissected and when distilled, it's really effective, man. Like when you're in the building, when you have these perspectives, and that was really the next part of my life, right? To take all that shit that I was doing, all these ideas, all these strategies that I was putting together to try to, you can ask Chris, right? From Puma to all these projects, I was here trying to I map it out. I sit and I figure out, and then I put it into play. That's 5 departments in a company, right? So what it does, it gives me a particular perspective. So when I intersect with the people that are doing similar things and things that I've done as an independent, I can provide a perspective. I can provide some strategy. That's where I wanted to take, what I learned and what I was doing. to that level.
I was just gonna ask you, Frank. You were talking about having fun in the old days, and I just wanted to know what was it like working with Chris? Was he a nightmare back then? What was it like?
Nah, man, nah, Chris. Why does he have a reputation for being difficult? Or something?
No.
Yes, he has. Yes. I will go on record. Yes. Lawrence DeLoach will say yes.
Listen, Frank, sometimes Chris will kind of go off on a tangent and it'll be about Sonic rings or something, and we
or
will
Lola Bunny or some shit that Frank is. We're not gonna talk to Frank about.
Yeah,
So
that one.
So
Listen, I Chris has always been A-okay in my book. He's an interesting character. He's a very interesting character to me. He's funny. He's interesting. This mother. I mean, he's I don't know. He's like I don't know. I never met someone quite like Chris.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Frank.
No, and I mean that in a super positive way. Like, yo, think about his varied skills. Like, he wants to be a fucking stand-up comic. He's over here, you know what I mean, designing streetwear and making ugly backpacks. Like, yeah, so much.
Frank, that's why we brought you on here. That's what we want to hear, man. Yes, let's do it.
Oh shit, that's hilarious.
Frank, we had an incident last week where Chris was trying to get seltzer on there was like this Spindrift like seltzer that was like exclusive to their website. He tried to get them. It didn't go well. And now he's trying to become a brand ambassador. Could you sign off on his brand ambassadorship?
Wait, hold on. Let me explain it a little better, Frank.
Please explain it.
So we're in like a drop culture now. I think if you just let me sort of kind of explain, you'll agree, where there's a lot of things where it's like, we're going to have the Supreme model where we're going to make like 20 to 50 of this. It doesn't matter what kind of company it is. We're going to drop it at a certain time, and whoever there gets it, and whoever doesn't, don't. There's this company Spindrift I really like. It's seltzer, My girl kind of put me on a seltzer going through comedy. Like, sometimes you have to buy a drink in order to perform. You had to buy seltzer. It's the cheapest one. So I became like a seltzer guy over time. I never hit on sneakers. I never hit on anything. Like, I have to be handed a sneaker in order to like have it. You know what I mean? You being one of the people that's done that for me in the past. I can't even get seltzer, bro. I signed up for this thing where it's like, if you get here at noon, you can try the new lemonade seltzer. I was like, bro, I'm in, because it's like got real lemonade in it or whatever. 12:04. I'm gone, bro. I got an email saying like, you missed it.
So basically,
are you trying to buy it, or what?
Yeah,
are you trying to purchase it?
Purchase, bro, with U.S. currency.
Yes.
Oh, I see. I thought you were trying to angle yourself as like a seltzer. You know what I mean?
This was our idea. We angle him as the Spindrift guy now. It's the only way he's ever going to win anything.
That's the brand name.
The seltzer brand.
Oh, I see.
We're going to have him peddling seltzers, but we need cosigns. So will you cosign him?
Yeah. I mean, he seems to have a passion for seltzer and lemonade. That should really got him going, the lemonade part.
There you go.
You ever had lemonade seltzer, Frank? It's kind of tight.
I'm not a seltzer guy. It's just kind of bitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Like all the comics. Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Frank,
that was a different kind of laugh, Chris.
Yeah, it was. You called me out.
I wanted to, Frank, I had another question for you, man, about like you said, you were part of an era, you said, the mid 2000s, and what was your start like, in Massachusetts, and, and like what got you inspired into like footwear and streetwear and all this stuff, man?
My city, right? Growing up in my city at the time that I grew up, it was just one of the moments, man. It was like one of the moments where these things were coming onto our radar, right? With music and with, and obviously the way information flowed was a little different. I'm talking about, early 90s and even back into 80. I mean, I'm 43. So, 88, 89, I'm maybe 5th and 6th grade, even back then, I was really caught by, where sneakers and street fashion and music and shit intersected. Like, it was just really exciting to me. There was a lot of kids that played ball. There was a lot of kids that did this and that. And while I dabbled, because I'm in the hood, I'm running around, I was really drawn to music and magazines and graffiti and that whole thing. Mm-hmm. And with that comes a uniform. You know what I'm saying? Like, with that comes a uniform and, and the search for these things, right, that are not made for us, army clothes and hockey jerseys and 40 belows and North Face. Like, these things, they weren't at Ebelin's. There was no, Expressions. I'm naming some stores in the New England region where I'm at, you know what I mean? But there wasn't like, Jimmy Jazz where they put all the shit together in one store. It was just a different era, and we were just driven by that. So growing up, music and fashion, I was just super hyper aware. So it's always been a part of my life. And then when I realized, in 2005 and I know Chris mentioned it. I'm not sure if it was off mic, off camera, but I joined a weekly drop podcast, which is really, I mean, I'm assuming is it the first podcast about any of this kind of shit, right? I mean,
believe
it had to be.
on
It
record,
predates
yeah.
podcast like services,
Yeah.
And when I met the guys Jeff Carvello and Rob Hepler who launched the podcast,
Hi Snabidi.
yeah, Jeff's a high Snabidi now, and Rob's on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
When I realized that the shit that I thought was regular, everyday shit for me, you know what I mean? I'm talking about just my life, things that my interests, my passions, just culminated into this personality, into this perspective. I've been dealing with this. I've been, and when I realized that provided a voice that was valuable, a POV that was valuable, it blew my mind. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, I can go get 5 of my friends from my block. You know what I'm saying? And we could, but it seemed to be there was just something happening in the air where my regular life, my passion had value. It was bugged out. It's like it met me because I was down and out. My little brother died in a car accident. I was depressed. And when I met these guys, I was kind of coming up out of my funk, and it gave me something to grasp at. And when I realized that, yo, just me, myself, just what I like and what I love is considered like a skill set in a way. It really drove me. And that's why when you guys asked about, working at a company, that, that's a part of it, right? It was driving me to continue to find the next iteration, what I'm gonna do, what's the next thing to do, because I don't want to do the same thing all the time. You know what I mean? I want to continue to grow and find new ways to express. And this game, this scene, the sneaker thing, this streetwear thing that was weird that was happening. When I first came into it, it was like, what is this? It don't even make no sense. It really gave me an opportunity to grow. And it's as simple as that, man. I was down and out trying to figure out what was next. And this gave me an opportunity. When I say this, I mean sneakers, I mean, footwear, streetwear, you know what I mean? Activewear, all that shit. We mixed all that shit up at Concepts. It was one of the first stores that really had a curation, a product like that, and it revolutionized everything. And it took a lot of us with it.
Now, Frank, you say you had a 24-year-old daughter. How much influence have you how much have you influenced her in streetwear and sneakers, or is this one of those things she was like, fuck it, I love the game and I love it?
No, I didn't do that in my crib. That's dangerous. You know what I mean? Like I came up in a neighborhood in the era that I seen the downside of brand obsession, so I didn't leverage my access for my kids and nothing like that. I got them things and but it was never like we weren't taking fucking family pictures all with Jordans on. You know what I mean? Like that shit ain't going down. And at the same time, I didn't want to push my personality onto my kids. Let them be who they're gonna be. So my daughter went to Leslie University art program. She's an art, kid. So she has taste and she, we get her things and this thing, but she's not like a reflection of me. I think the part she got from me was seeing that creativity, seeing that being a designer or being creative or just being an artist in general, that there's a way to build a life and build a career on that. So I think that's the part she absorbed the most. Obviously, everybody in my house gets busy. Everybody got shoes. Everybody got things because if I was a baker, everybody be fat. You know what I mean? Like it just be part of it. Like there's always about I'm always bringing home bagels. But it was important for my kids to have their own personalities. And I didn't want to. A lot of it too, man. I was in and around customers a lot in the early days because I was at Concepts, sneaker lines and stuff, and I was just aware at what this this obsession can do to kids, how crazy it can make people, how and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm more saying how the passion to want something that they can't get drives people to do things. So I was just very mindful of that. I want my kids to be good people. You know what I'm saying? And they grew up to be good people, and yeah, they got some taste here and there, but we never indulged like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Get with that. One last thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
We've been kind
no
of
problem.
playing this game, I guess. Basically, are you familiar with the Fly Ease, the new Nike Fly Ease technology that came out recently?
Is that the one where the shoe goes on and closes without,
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
yep.
So you're also familiar with the Yeezy 450s?
Which one is that?
That's the one where the sole kind of comes up in streaks, sort of like
Dumplings.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a
Yes.
dumpling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so these are both two very unique
Yeah,
sneakers.
it's funny. It's funny you say dumpling and then that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chris said
That's
it like
something.
2 weeks ago on the podcast, and it hurt me. But I don't like. He was right. It hurts.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yep, that one. Got it. Visual.
So yeah, these two shoes come from very different worlds, and we sort of like we're talking about like which one we would rather wear. Now, just like in this hypothetical situation, say these are the only two shoes that are going to exist for the rest of the time, but you had to pick one. Which shoe would you wear going forward?
Well, disclaimer, I work for Adidas Group, so this is a fucking fictional scenario.
Very fictional.
Very fictional.
All the thoughts are hypothetical and on your, we're separate from the companies right now. You know what I mean? We're just a hypothetical situation just dropped your way. That's it.
Yep, that's all. Definitely the Fly Ease. Like, you crazy? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
yeah,
why?
That's what
why?
I'm saying, Frank.
Like,
what are we doing here?
I don't need to tie my shoe. Like, come on, man.
What did I?
Yeah,
All right, Frank, you know, if you're noticing Lawrence's silence, it's for a reason.
Frank,
Nah,
I'm
Lawrence,
gonna say,
listen, bro. I get it. Listen, you 35, you still styling on them. You still have, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I get it. But I'm saying, for me, if I can not tie my shoe, to me, that's the innovation I'm looking for. Like the dumpling and all that. Like, I know that it is a very much like shoe, but I will leave a pair available for y'all. Because
Frank,
man, getting my shoe on and off without lacing it sounds pretty sweet.
Frank, I'm gonna say this, all right? This whole interview, I'm like, man, I fuck with Frank the Butcher. Like, I love this dude.
Until
and
now.
then you gonna sit here and tell me you gonna take them Fly E's, bro. What are you doing right now? You see them 450s, right? Them joints, something about them I really like. But you know what, Frank?
Yeah, because do you like dumplings? There's an association. It's like Camel. Remember when Camel cigarette cartoons? They were like, yo, like there's a weird thing. Yeah, you remember this controversy when Camel cigarettes had a cartoon and they thought it was the way it was designed. It was like pulling women in because of the.
Right.
I'm just saying, there's an association. You like dumplings. You like those things.
Lawrence likes dumplings.
And it's all good.
Listen, by law, I'm supposed to like the 450s, so I get it. I get it.
Oh man.
Oh well, thank you, Frank.
Come on, but no, hold on one second. Hold on. Come on, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying, dogs. Like, you know what I mean? You have genie feet all the time. Like, that's all you want to do.
Frank, listen, there was something about those, like you said, that just kind of drew me into the Yeezy model. And I'm not like, I love certain Yeezys, but those kind of touched my soul in some way. I can't explain.
God bless y'all, yo. God bless.
It touched your stomach.
God bless y'all. Yeah, no. It's like there's still like a twinkle in your eye. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is.
You know, like, I
is.
appreciate that. Like, yo, there's something about that shoe. Like, come on, dogs. That's the 10th version. You know what I'm saying? There's something about that shoe. Like, but I can appreciate the passion, you know. But there's nothing about that shoe, Lawrence. You know that. Like, we know that shit does nothing special. The other shoe got innovation. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand that. I'm on your side with that a little bit. So
okay, well, I won Lawrence back. Cool.
Yeah, he wasn't hearing me at all. He was looking at me with a dead face, going like, "Yeah, whatever you say, Chris. Sure. Yup."
Why did you pick that shoe, Chris? Is it for the innovation?
Yeah, innovation. I mean, like, always on this, a lot of the times when we talk about stuff, I'm always from like the design perspective. And that to me was like what you said, the innovative part. And like, there is something to say about like the tooling and probably the process they went to get that wrap around the shoe and how it went with the netting or whatever. But, that Fly Ease, and also Nike's model about applying that to other models, you know what I mean? Like, Yeezy doesn't really have a platform yet to touch like Adidas sneakers. Like, he's not going to touch a Forum, you know what I mean? He may make something that look like a Forum, but it's still going to be a Yeezy. Nike going to be able to take that technology and apply them to all the other shit. So like, I proposed the idea of like, what was that with a 3? Lawrence was like, "Get the fuck out my face."
Oh,
But those are the fun conversations I have in my head with me, and like I would have it with you and stuff. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of like why
what does
I
Luke
that.
think? What does Luke think? What's Luke's thoughts?
I think in the way of the average Asian consumer, and the average Asian consumer loves these shoes, loves Supreme mics, loves everything about
Yeah, you
that.
bought how much did that mic cost?
Listen, Frank, don't worry about that. All right. How many years of experience?
No,
How long did it take
I
to get the city, the key to the city?
Listen,
How long did that take?
Listen, I did not mean to poke at you. I was just really wondering what the retail cost is. I don't, whatever you bought.
It was too much, Frank.
No, what was the retail on
it?
it?
It was like 300 after tax. It was the worst.
Did you buy it from the site or did you buy it like from a site? From
No. My friend picked it up. He got it online. He was online for it, and he got it for me.
Okay.
So
a $300 mic.
But you can't deny the drip, Frank.
Can't
look at the drip.
Yeah, but and then you're gonna hold it like you know what I mean?
I perform with this sometimes when I do comedy. It's real off-putting for people.
I saw Clark Kent DJing on Instagram Live the other night, and he got one, and he wasn't holding it. It was fucking in the air. So
you know what? That's true.
Luke, I think it's more of a stunt, right? If you got that shit in the thing, in the stand, right, and then you got it tucked like bottom frame, so you kind of see the E or where is it? The S start at the top. Yeah. Like, see right there. That's like, oh, word, Luke is doing it. But when you're holding it like Brian Gumble, tuck it, like move it out the frame a little. Let's get this right before I bounce. But get a little shine. Get the S in there. Yeah. Get the lighting right. The lighting, you know what I mean?
Yo, Frank is toasting you right now.
No, come on. See, to me right there, that's like when you don't have the label on your shirt. Like, oh shit, like, oh, I peeped the brand. I didn't right there. That's it right there.
Damn.
Yeah, leave it right there, bro.
Thanks, Frank.
Perfect. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. I'm
always
sorry
a pleasure.
I was late.
No, you're perfect, man. I just want to make sure people on your way out follow you and see the things that you want them to see. I'm excited to see what you're doing with Public Peace Works. I know that's your little passion project that I've sprinkled in help here and there, but that's your brainchild. You've been working on it for a while. I love that shit. You always got something on the side going, but so if anyone wanted to find any of these things, where could they go? Maybe an Instagram or something.
Frank the Butcher on Instagram. It's just a pleasure chatting to y'all. I'm not trying to sell nobody nothing. You know what? Go on iTunes or go on your music services. Look up Frank the Butcher. I got a couple albums out there. I just
yep.
Yeah, I just dropped something with a rapper Aldo from the Bronx. That's really good. I dropped something with my man from Worcester, Ari, and the instrumental version of that album. Novocaine is up now. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with UFO Feeve. I got a project with him coming up soon.
Oh, dope.
Just having fun. Just having fun, making beats, living life.
That's it, man.
Wearing Birkenstocks and shit.
Hell yeah, bro.
Frank, man, thank you so much, man. For real, man. It's been a
blast. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thanks, Frank.
Appreciate it. Have a great night, guys. All right.
I'll talk to you later, bro.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.